Outside the Russian embassy in Kiev, protesters gathered to denounce Russia's seizure of 3 Ukrainian naval vessels, while the highest levels of Ukraine's government prepared their official response. President Petro Poroshenko, meeting with his National Security Council, called on Parliament to implement martial law for a period of 60 days.
We see this act as an aggressive act. We accept this as a very serious threat. Unfortunately for the Russian Federation, there are no red lines.
Poroshenko careful to point out that it's not a declaration of war, but it's clear the crisis between Ukraine and Russia is escalating. On Sunday, 2 Ukrainian gunboats and a tug were fired on and rammed by Russian boats as they attempted to sail through the Strait of Kerch, which Russia had blocked with a tanker. Several Ukrainian sailors were injured, all 3 vessels seized by Russian forces. Russia accused Ukraine's boats of illegally entering its territorial waters, while Ukraine says it had informed the Russians of its ships' routes. Under a treaty dating to 2003, the Strait of Kerch and Sea of Azov are shared territorial waters, but tensions have been building there since Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine in 2014. Russia has recently begun inspecting all vessels sailing through the strait, part of what Kiev says is a creeping blockade of key Ukrainian ports on the Azov Sea. Russian politicians, including Crimean leader Sergei Aksyonov, blame Kiev for Sunday's incident, calling it a puppet of the West.
I think that hysteria and provocations from our neighbour country will continue as long as Kiev has a Russophobic regime controlled from the outside.
Meanwhile, the European Union and NATO are urging restraint, calling on Russia to restore freedom of passage to the Azov Sea.